Hi everyone, it's Celeste Orchid. Thanks for coming back to my channel. And as you saw in the title down below, we are talking about my Catwoman wedding dress. The recent dress that I teasered on my YouTube channel from the Batman comic book series. It is Selena Kyle's wedding dress and I fell in love with it. And I hope you guys did too. So this video is going to be explaining how I made this dress in kind of a quick manner form because I don't want it to get too long. If you're not subscribed to my channel, do so by clicking that red button down below saying subscribe and make sure you see my future videos. Let's get this video going! Like Catwoman. First things first, here are my materials. I am going to be using this beaded sequined black lace. It has a lot of different designs and different textures to it, so there's that. I am using this black satin. I have used it for a different costume as well, and that's that. And I'm using this white silk, and it has a very nice sheen to it. I got these fabrics in Los Angeles, not Denmark. For the top, I wanted to go with a corset pattern, so I chose McCalls 6343. Looking at the design, there is a front black panel, so I used the centerpiece in black and I cut that out. Next, I did the rest of the process on the white silk material. Next, I am using a white cotton as a interfacing and boning base. This is going to help keep the structure and not make the dress slouch. And here I am cutting it out using the same pattern pieces from before. You want this to still stay the same and retain the same shape. These are the two bodices created, and then we need to add interfacing to that inner layer. I'm going to be using the heaviest interfacing possible to help keep the structure of my bodice and to help pull the weight of the lace later on. So I'm just going to be ironing this onto the fabric. From here you can see that I've added multiple layers and structural integrities on the seams and on certain parts of the bodice to make sure that it will stay up and hold the weight of the dress. Here is the black part of the skirt. I'm using my own pattern and now I'm cutting it out. So special. I'm using the same pieces that I just cut out from the black material and cutting it onto the white cotton material. This is going to be the base server for the white skirt. Now I'm sewing everything together. This is the bodice top. Here, you can see me sewing together the skirt pieces. Hooray! With the black skirt sewn, now I'm going to mark and pin certain areas to know where I'm going to cut it out. With the new black piece cut out, now I'm going to make marks in the white skirt part and cut off the excess material. This bottom piece is actually going to hold the silk white layer of the skirt underneath, and it will be stronger than using up all the white silk material that I have. This is what the dress looks like so far. The bodice is too big and I need to sew the bottom of the skirt on. So I need to go ahead and hand sew that down, and then I'm going to take apart the bodice and make it tighter to fit me better. After sewing down the black skirt to the front, now I'm going to use the white skirt part and sew it to the back with the seams facing outside and the seams facing in. Here you can see that it was really difficult to sew it onto the interfacing, but it was really worth it in the end, and it had a lot of structure and shape. Sometimes I even had to use pliers to pull the needle. Next came the white part of the dress. I cut out a circle skirt. It was actually too short. I didn't consider how much space I needed for high heels or just my feet in general, so I had to go back and add a black layer. This is how I just cut out the skirt. I did use a circle skirt, but I went back and added more to it with scraps of fabric in between so that the skirt would be more full. The circle skirt wasn't enough. If I had enough fabric, I would have used at least 3 circle skirts. Here I'm cutting out the top so my feet can get in it, but this actually took away from the total length of the skirt, and thus I had to fix that. This is the entirety of the lace that I used that went into this dress. As you can see, it's like 1.5 yards-ish, and this is what the design looked like. I had to cut out all of this by hand. If anything, it was really worth it, and I got to position everything where I wanted it to be. A lot of footage was just me cutting out the lace by hand and sewing it on by hand. I know that can be really boring, so I opted out from not recording it. So I just wanted to stop and give you a quick assessment of what's going on and what happened during this time frame. I went ahead and added the lining to this outfit already. I'm not gonna line this bottom part only because the seam is on the inside. I felt like the bodice is the most important part that should be lined and not the skirt. I went ahead and top stitched the top part and added a zipper. The type of zipper I chose was very reminiscent towards Catwoman herself, so black with silver metal. So here's the lace now. I cut up a lot of the pieces. So when I have the sleeves starting to be added, or it'll look something along these lines, just one piece sewn to the next piece. Instead, it's actually going to be hanging off of the shoulder more romantically than just having these pieces sewn together versus one big strap piece. So far I already started putting on the laces on the bodice, and that's where the black part of the skirt comes on. The front part of the skirt already has some pinning, so let's get hand sewing for the rest of my life. This is what the dress looks like after cutting out more pieces of lace and pinning it to the bodice on my mannequin. I wanted the symmetry to be perfect, so it took a while, but this is where the black ribbon is going to go across my waist. Now I am sewing the white skirt pieces together. I actually added a few scrap pieces to the skirt by lengthening the width of the skirt by this much. Look how much bigger it's gotten. Now I'm just going to position out where the lace is going to sit, sew it, and add it to the dress. That will be the end of it, I think. So when it came down to it, I didn't record making the veil or the headband. I was posting those on my social media handles. I used the same cat ear tutorial that I have here. Instead of having the wire start at the base of the headband at the top, I did it all around it. But I used crystal iridescent beads for the headband. And the headband base is actually a broken headband from H&M, so whoops. Didn't mean to break that, but at least I was able to recycle it into something new. This is actually a hair clip, and I attached tulle that I burned the edges, and I added black squares of fabric onto it to emulate the veil. I was wanting to do this on a budget, so it was a lot cheaper for me to use small fabric scraps and my own accessories that I have now. I didn't end up filming a lot of just the end part of the dress, which was just adding all of the lace. I feel like that would have been very monotonous, so here I'm talking about it. Instead, I just hand sewed every single inch and centimeter of detail into this lace. Originally, I was going to make this giant piece of lace right here, like the top of the bust line, and instead that didn't turn out really well because that's not what it looks like in the picture. So I actually used it into the skirt design to give it like a higher blend, so it's not so stark contrast of just like a straight line of black versus white. I did cut the skirt too short, and I still feel like I could give it a few more inches, so I might go back and add more of this black chiffon like fabric, which is cool. It's embossed velvet chiffon, and it has like this really cool design on it. So it was just a lot of cutting out the lace or like repositioning and then sewing it. I did have to reposition the skirt hemline about 3 times until I had it to where I really loved it. The only thing I did not sew on this dress was this black ribbon piece, and this black ribbon piece is actually glued on with tacky glue. And I didn't want to glue any of these lace pieces because I didn't want residue to peek through the netting. Word to the wise, know what to sew, know what to glue, don't mess up. So one accessory that completes the entire look are the earrings, and my husband was such a doll. He went out and actually got me the perfect earrings, and they are so perfect. Like, they are stud posted earrings, and they have the little spheres at the end. These are sterling silver, and they're not terribly like heavy, but I don't recommend jumping with them on, so no jumping wedding photos, otherwise they will pull hard. I do love these, and they're so modern and chic. They don't overwhelm the dress, and it's like so perfect. I love it. so much for watching. If you're not subscribed, subscribe already for more awesome DIY cosplay fashion madness. And leave me a comment down below about this dress. Any questions, comments, I'm so welcome to it. And like always, I will see you in my next video. Bye! Don't video me covering my feet.
Sorry, it's a video.
Yeah, but wait. And I can't cover my feet because of the course.
Okay.
Okay.